Now available for pre-order on Kindle. Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Learn how to avoid predatory females in their virtual con games with Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Pre-order your copy of Stop Simping in Cyberspace on Kindle today. One of my viewers wanted to know how young black athletes will get women pregnant they know are just looking for a come-up or a bag. And they wanted to know what their mentality was and why they didn't use condoms. Now, when it comes down to these black athletes who get women pregnant or who they know are just being predatory, a lot of these guys' mentality comes from the extremely dysfunctional way these guys have been raised in these single mother households. Now, in these single mother households, many of these males grew up with desperation, and because they have a scarcity mindset, they believe that opportunities with attention from women are rare, and that is one of the core foundations of their dysfunctional mentality. Now, the other part of their extremely dysfunctional mentality is the codependent relationship that many of these males have with their mothers. Now, these males, because they grew up with a female having more power over them, believe that they have to go out here and meet the needs of other women in the same way that they meet the needs of their mother. However, the relationship that a boy has with his mother is completely different than he has with other women, and I go in depth on this subject in my book, The Man Crisis. And I also go in depth as related to your males in the man crisis about how these guys have a hard time being able to have relationships with women, and the primary reason why these guys go out here and get women pregnant or get involved with predatory females looking for a come up or a bag is because many of these males grew up not having the male life skills that a boy learns from his father. Now, because the father was never involved with these boys in their lives, there was nobody there to teach them how to socialize with women when they came into adolescence. And learning how to socialize with women in adolescence is something only a boy can learn from his father, because his father had to go out here and have relationships with women in order for him to be conceived. So a father knows how to go out here and vet women that he gets involved with, and he knows what social cues and nonverbal cues to look for when identifying a female predator. And the only way a boy can learn these skills is if a father is in the home to teach him, or other men are there to teach him. But when it comes down to many of your young black athletes, because many of these boys grow up in a scarcity environment and are extremely desperate, they don't get these male life skills on how to deal with women in social situations. So a lot of these guys, they grow up again with a scarcity mindset, believing attention from women is rare, and they think that any attention that they get from women is good attention. So these guys oftentimes leave themselves extremely vulnerable to female predators, and those female predators, they can smell that desperation from many of those guys a mile away. And because they can smell that desperation from those guys and that codependency from those guys, they know how to set these guys up in order to get themselves a nice payday at their expense. Now, many of these female predators, they know that these guys are extremely green as related to dating and relationships, and they know that these guys are not very good critical thinkers. And because they know that these guys are extremely green, they have no male life skills, and they have no understanding of how to go out here and vet women, they know how to set these guys up, because these guys are just so caught up in the attention that they're receiving that they're not really thinking critically about why this female is paying you attention. Now, a man who grew up in a home with a father and strong male figures, they're going to understand that not to just think about who is paying them attention, but why they are paying them attention. And because they're thinking about why this woman is paying them attention, they are going to sit there and not only listen to what she says, but they're also going to watch her actions. And moreover, they're going to watch what company this woman is involved with. And any critical thinking guy, when he starts to see this female who is out here checking for him, and she's out here with gang members and drug dealers and pookies and ray-rays, they're going to say, okay, this is not a female I want to deal with. Or if they see this female quickly running to other men, they're going to say to themselves, that's not a female I want to deal with. But when you have a guy who is extremely green, like many of these athletes, who don't know how to really navigate social circles, they just go and see whoever is paying attention to them. And that's how a lot of these guys start to get set up, because they start getting caught up in the visuals of these females, like these groupies, who go out here, put on that makeup, go and get their hair done, or put on a weave or a wig, and then dress up in a way that is visually attractive to these guys to get their attention. And then many of these females, they know how to be very glib and charming to the guy that they want to get with. So they set these guys up, and a lot of these guys, they're so caught up in the visual of the alleged beauty of this female that they're never thinking critically about the character of this female. And a lot of these guys, they're not really thinking critically about the character of these females, because all they see is that fine body and that big booty. And when they see that fine body and that big booty, they want to get themselves a taste of the atomic waste. And what they don't know is that taste of the atomic waste can lead to them having a stomach ache for the next 18 to 25 years. Now, a lot of these guys, again, all they're thinking about is this so-called fine woman is paying attention to them, and they're going to get easy access to those skid mark thong. And after they get access to the skid mark thong, they're going to be able to go out here and brag to guys about how they got her, and they don't really understand the big picture of what's going on, because a lot of these guys, again, because they come from single mother households, they're not having a relationship with the woman. No, they are having relationships with these women because they want to impress other men, and because they want to impress other men, they want to be able to say, I went out here and got with this female, and that's what leads to a lot of these guys getting jammed up. Now, even worse for many of these athletes, what happens is that you've got this whoremonger culture that goes on around them. So a lot of these guys, they're not really thinking about trying to do a woman right, because a lot of them have got this whoremonger mindset, and all many of these athletes are thinking about is going out here and smashing and dashing, and they're looking to smash and dash because they want to brag to their friends about how many women they have gone out here and slept with. So a lot of them have this whoremonger mindset, and that's what grows inside of these sports cultures. But what happens to many of these guys who have this whoremonger mindset and get involved with these predators is they're thinking that they can get over on these females who they know are looking for a come up or a bag. But what happens is these females wind up bagging them, because many of these guys, they go out here and put themselves in front of these females looking for easy sex, but that easy sex is the thing that winds up complicating their lives. And because they are so caught up in trying to, again, outsmart these females, they wind up getting outsmarted themselves. Now, some of these guys, they go out here and they do use condoms with these females, but a lot of times what these females do is they set those guys up with those condoms. Some of these women, they will, in some cases, go out here and drug these guys and get the sperm that way. And others will go out here and know that this guy will not go out here and flush the condom down the toilet and go out here and get the sperm. And I even heard of one woman who orally pleasured a man, took the sperm, got pregnant with the sperm, and then went out here and got child support for herself. So a lot of these guys, they will go out here and use condoms, but because a lot of these guys, again, don't have good male life skills and good male survival skills, what happens is they set themselves up to be taken advantage of by these female predators who are one step ahead of many of these guys. And the reason why they're one step ahead of these guys is because these males never got the foundation on how to have relationships with women or how to socialize with women. And because they don't have that foundational education from their fathers, a lot of these guys wind up getting played, because a lot of these guys start to think that, oh, I can go out here and have any woman I want. They start to get their head gassed by these female predators, and they get their head gassed by other beta males who try to tell them this is the way things are supposed to be. You're supposed to be able to get all of this sex. You're supposed to be able to have all these women. But what they don't see is how having all these women is having them get into a lot of trouble. So a lot of these guys, they will go out here and they will call themselves having all of these women, but then they will have a lot of grief because these females, they are looking at the bigger picture, because they're not looking at the man. They're looking at his resources, and they're looking to use those resources as a come up, either in a divorce, either in child support court, or even in a settlement as related to an allegation of a sex crime. So these guys, they start out from day one messed up because they just don't really know how to navigate social situations with women. They don't know how to vet women. They don't know how to listen to women. They are so caught up in the attention that they're receiving that all they want to do is be told what they want to hear, and all they want to do is hear a woman say yes. And because they want to hear a woman say yes, they really don't think critically about what this woman is agreeing to do with them, because all they're thinking about is getting some access to what's inside of that skid mark thong or that, gooey covered G-string. And they're not really thinking about that there are consequences and ramifications behind it. They're just thinking that they're just going to get some easy panties, but oftentimes what comes out of easy panties is a hard 18 to 25 year child support, or 18 to 20 years of alimony, or even going out here and again getting jammed up to the point where this woman has you charged with a sex crime. And these guys are not really thinking about these situations and seeing the big picture, because there's nobody there to show them the big picture. So that's how a lot of these females get come-ups on these guys, and how they get the bag from them, because these guys go out here, and because many of them are simps, they go to places where these kind of females are, because they're still with this ghetto mindset. This is the same guy still going to the ghetto club. This is the same guy still going to the neighborhood place, and he's still trying to get involved with the same type of females, not understanding that once you come up in the world, your standards are supposed to rise, and you don't go to places where there are all of these predatory females. No, once your economic status raises, your mentality has to change. But a lot of these guys, their mentality doesn't change. And because it doesn't change, because they're still thinking from a scarcity mindset, and they're still thinking from a codependent frame of thinking, they are looking for the easiest women, not understanding that the easiest women are oftentimes the reason why many men have such a hard time later on. So a lot of these guys, they're just sitting there, they get jammed up so bad because they don't really think, why does this woman want to get involved with me all of a sudden? I mean, when this guy was a scrub, none of these same women would be paying him any attention. But once he comes to the NBA, that's when they want to put on the gallon of makeup. That's when they want to slap a weave or a wig on their head. And that's when they want to pay him attention. But then after they get their money, That's when you get the bonnet and the slippers. And that's what happens to these guys because they don't really have, again, good critical thinking skills, the ability to use logic and reason, or the ability to scope out a female and check out her energy, check out her aura, check out her spirit as you're talking to her. I mean, feel her energy, because any guy out here who has been around and knows what things are, they know when you're talking to a female, you cannot get so caught up in your emotions over that female that she is making it where you're not sitting down here and thinking critically. Because even when I was a teenager at 14 years old, I knew when a girl would come up to me, I needed to keep my head clear, because there has to be a reason why she's coming to talk to me, and I need to figure out what that reason is, because if I don't figure out what that reason is, there's going to be a target on my back. And the thing is that a lot of these guys, they're just so caught up in their emotions about the attention they're receiving. They're not trying to figure out why this woman wants to talk to them, and they're not figuring out what she wants out of things. That's what a guy has to figure out early on, because, again, these are things that when a woman is talking, you listen to what she's saying and watch what she's doing, because if she's genuinely into you, she's going to be a completely different person. And when she's not really into you, you can feel that in the energy. But again, these guys are thinking that they're going to get easy access and try to outsmart these females. But oftentimes, in their attempt to get the access, they wind up being outsmarted themselves. So again, these guys jam themselves up because, again, they just don't know how to have relationships with women. And another part of it is these guys' egos get so bloated from all of this attention, they can't think critically, because they're thinking, I'm an NBA star, I'm an NFL star, I should have access to these kind of females. But they're not understanding the kind of females who they're getting access to are only here because of your money, and all they want to do is get your cash at your expense. So one of the things I see with a lot of these guys, again, is they don't have good male life skills, they don't have good male survival skills, and what happens to many of your athletes over time is, even though they've got millions of dollars, eventually they wind up becoming men in crisis, and they become men in crisis because they don't really understand how to navigate the world of socially interacting with women. Now, I hope this answers my viewer's question, and if you want to see me answer one of your questions in a video, or want to request a video like this viewer, you can donate to my Cash App or my PayPal by clicking the link in the description box. And if you want to learn more about how to navigate social situations with women, you can pick up my book, Stop Simpin', Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, Stop Simpin' in the Workplace, Stop Simpin' in Cyberspace, and The Man Crisis on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them on Smashware's The iBook Store and Google Play. And I believe if NBA and NFL players had copies of these books, they would be able to take the target off their back, and they would be able to identify these female predators and be able to protect their bag. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Coming to paperback and e-readers, E-Steam Cancel Vacation. Hell's aspiring angel takes on a social justice social media mob looking to cancel her in this all-new E-Steam series adventure. Pre-order E-Steam Cancel Vacation on Amazon.com today.